Hey, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. What's up, is a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums. And today I'm going to be doing an album review on the new 21 Pilots album, Clancy. So, American rock pop duo 21 Pilots have returned for their seventh album, Clancy, which is for a lot of fans one of the most anticipated albums of 2024. Not for me though, because I'm not really a 21 Pilots fan. So obviously 21 Pilots music have been in the mainstream for quite some time now. In the early 2010s, they have released raging successful songs like Stressed Out and Ride on the album Blurry Face. Even though I wasn't too familiar with the album Blurry Face, from some of the singles I've heard, I think it is pretty subpar. However, in the year 2018, they released the album Trench, and oh my god, what the hell happened? It's like 21 Pilots lit a fire under their asses because they were leagues more amazing of songwriters and performers on Trench. Trench is ambitious, explosive, catchy, creative, full of lore, and it is all in all a great concept album. Just the five first tracks off of Trench alone, which is, of course, Jumpsuit, an explosive and very dramatic opening to the album, Levitate, which is a catchy, fun rap track. Morph is a bit of a throwback to Blurry Face, but still has so much charisma. My Blood is a groovy, danceable pop banger, and Chlorine is something that 21 Pilots have never written before. It doesn't even sound like 21 Pilots. It is total new territory. So Trench was an exciting album. It's amazing. So maybe they are actually good. Apparently not, because in 2021 they released the album Scaled and Icy, which is a huge step down for the band because all the interesting lore is nowhere to be found, the instrumentals are toned down and basic, and they went for a happier tone, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. There are a lot of great rock bands that come out with very happy music, and they're great, but, not 21 Pilots. So a lot of people, including me, are torn. I don't know whether they're going to release another bad, forgettable album or are they going to release something ambitious like Trench, which goes to Clancy, their latest album, where there was a lot of teasing before the release of the album. They put up red tapes all over their previous album covers, and then they started sending cryptic emails to fans who signed up for 21 Pilots email chain system, and they even announced a band logo change. It's like 21 Pilots is preparing for something very big. So obviously the band is teasing towards a huge change up stylistically, and then they started teasing that on the album Clancy they're going back to Trench. Yes, we're going back to the Trench. And then we have the album that is Clancy, and Clancy is the name of the main character of this lore, and he is, I guess, a guy who is escaping Dima, which is the evil nation. It's evil, big bad evil nation. And that is basically the oversimplified lore of 21 Pilot. And then there's like Nico, this other guy who, like, I don't know. I honestly forgot most of the lore already. It's been 6 whole years since Trench. But anyways, we have the 3 lead up singles to the album, and apparently these 3 singles turn out to be the first 3 tracks. The album opener Overcompensate is literally the first single, and the second single is Next Semester, literally the second track. Third track, Backslide, the third single. So Overcompensate starts off pretty exciting with moody pianos, and it crashes into ominous horn loops, bassy buzzing percussions, and then we have rap verses after rap verses, impressive beat switch ups. It's a little bit of a mess, but it still holds up as an opener, and more importantly, 21 Pilots does seem like they're going back to trench era music. You know, a little edgy, a little fun, a little exciting, a little bit ambitious, just a little bit. And lyrically, the song solidifies Clancy as a main character in this lore, with a lot of lyrics describing sort of his personality. But uh, yeah, 21 Pilots is not escaping the cheesy lyrics accusations because we have lines like way too short for my soul, corazon, nice. Thank you for the little bit of a Spanish twist at the end of the sentence for no reason. Bless your ear holes while you react, acting gobsmacked. Next up, we have the track Next Semester, which I think is probably my favorite song off the album. It is a feel-good rock jam that has a blissfulness of like a Killers song, but it is genuinely fun and catchy. Lyrically, it either alludes to like an evil school system or like a panic attack at the same time. Maybe Clancy went to a school and he's like bad in the school or something. And then the track ends off with some sweet acoustic guitars. And truth be told, the vibe of this song is very teenagey. I feel like I'm in some early 2010s coming of age film, and lyrically it's not that great or anything either. But admittedly, it is a fun song that I may potentially, on a 5% chance, see myself listening to it one more time after this review. Then we have the track Backslide, which also takes a slightly interesting approach with some hip hop beats, some lukewarm keyboards, and an all out chorus. And once again, lyrically, this track serves as a bit of a character study of Clancy. Following that, we have Midwest Indigo, and this is where the album falls apart from this point onwards, because on this track we have some constantly hitting punk drums, vocals that come from a very weak place, from a place of poppy rap music. So obviously, vocally and instrumentally, they don't match at all. But also, there's an energy in the track that's really great, but the instrumentals are so repetitive. Then we have Routines in the Night. Routines in the Night. Oh, okay. And turns out it is a pretty straightforward pop song. For some reason, there's something so basic and clean about the production of this track that makes me feel like this would have been huge on TikTok. I'm not even on TikTok, I'm only saying out of estimation. The chorus is pretty catchy in 21 Pilot standards, but I have to admit, this song is pretty freaking boring. It is pretty boring, and I really don't know how am I going to tie this into Clancy lore, because a lot of explanations of this song is, oh, Tyler Joseph, the frontman of the duo, singing about his own mind and how he's like in a building with white paint on the doors and whatever. Maybe that's also Clancy. Like, at this point, trying to connect the lyrics of songs on this album to the lore is basically mental gymnastics. So now we move on to Vignette, which starts off with some strong verses with a boom bap beat, clear and bold pianos, but the chorus just totally ruins the momentum. And again, one corny rap verse after another. The band attempts to make the song interesting with a fancy keyboard solo at the end, but then they also swarm this song with sound effects like birds chirping, which is just hilarious. Following that, we have The Craving, Jenna's version, which is a revamped version of the single The Craving, but the revamped version is now a tribute to Tyler's wife, Jenna. And this is essentially a stripped back guitar ballad with emotional lyrics that don't seem to go anywhere, but instrumentally a much needed break in the album. Following that, we have the track Lavish, which is a really awkward pop rap song about, I guess, all that glitters isn't necessarily gold, the reality is cruel, the society is telling lies. And we have the lyrics, man. What the hell? Are they AI generated? What's happening here? Got that penny loafer squeak across linoleum. Beckflex complex Napoleon. I say whatever and whatever that I want, a sip, a Capri Sun, like it's Dom Perignon? Keep it cool, keep the mood androgynous. I see your problem is your proctologist. Got both hands on your shoulder while you're bottomless? What? Then we have the track Navigating, which is a pretty exciting and colorful, dancey post-punk song with quick drum beats and key changes. The chorus feels like it's extracted from a different song, which makes the song a little bit jarring, but there's undoubtedly like an energy there, I guess. The track Snapback is an absolute drag. It's so slow and safe, and the production is so clean, it's so sterile, it's boring. Also boring is the next track Oldie Station, which instrumentally it's boring, but lyrically it does have something to say. It's about people growing old and losing them before you even know it. A really heavy subject matter. But that heavy subject matter is completely destroyed by the extremely boring instrumentals. The track At the Risk of Feeling Dumb is another really basic song. It sounds like it's made with royalty-free YouTube music. And the album ends off with Plaid and Straight, which is 6.5 minutes long. Big epic ending to the album, and it's obviously the song with the most lore. Clancy is escaping the evil nation, swimming the Paladin Strait or the Paladin Strait or however. And again, listening to this song, I feel like I just jumped from the beginning of the story to the ending of the story with nothing in between. Like the entire album builds up Clancy's character and his insecurities, blah blah, blah, and suddenly he's escaping in the Paladin Strait. Like, sure, okay, great story. It's nowhere near as epic as the ending of The Trench, and the clean guitars and the simple drum beats just feel really dated. The acoustic guitar ending just feels like a last-ditch attempt from the band to make the song interesting. There's a little bit pitched vocals at the end, which is kind of interesting, but at the end of the day, it's not that great of a song and pretty underwhelming as an album ending. And the thing is, this album is supposed to be huge. With the cryptic letters and the red tape and everything, the band made this album like it's the huge finale or the huge climax of this lore. But no, what we got is a pretty quaint character study album. And I say quaint as in underwhelming. Still nowhere near as ambitious as Trench, nowhere near as fun, nowhere near as creative, and a lot of the songs just feel like they're written within like a couple hours and they don't stick or land at all, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm giving this album like a strong 5 to a light 6 out of 10. Somewhere between a strong 5 to a light 6. Haven't decided. Maybe a light 6, like a very, very light 6. So have you listened to the new 21 Pilots album? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. One of my best friends is a huge 21 Pilots fan, so I'm just gonna say sorry to her right now in advance. Not really in advance, the review's already over, but you know.